How you doing? Welcome back. This is part 2 about choosing a handgun that's right for you. We're going to get a little more in depth about carry options. Number 1, what method you're going to use to carry your handgun, that being a holster. And we're also going to get into what condition you are going to carry your handgun in. That being loaded with a round in the chamber, loaded with just a loaded magazine but no round in the chamber, whether you're going to carry cocked and locked, whether your gun has a safety on it that you have to disengage first, or a hammer that you have to cock first before you fire it. So we're gonna get into some of that and try to help you decide, aid you in making a decision about what gun to get and how you're going to carry it. First of all, I do not work for any gun manufacturers, any holster manufacturers. I'm not a gun dealer. I don't own a gun shop. I'm not an FFL. I'm just a consumer. I like guns, and this is a work in progress, some of the guns here and some of the holsters that I'm going to show you. Different things that I've tried and have worked for me, trial and error. Different methods that work in for different applications. So first of all, let's talk about when you buy a gun. I never buy a gun without buying a holster for it. I want to make sure that that gun is, if I'm going to be carrying it, that I'm going to have some method of carrying it. That being an inside the waistband holster and outside the waistband holster. So for each gun here, I have a couple of different options for ways to carry it. So we'll get started here. First of all, with the revolver, I really only have one option so far. I don't carry this gun much. It's not really super practical for carrying concealed or self-defense, but this is a DeSantis leather outside the waistband holster that has a thumb brake. So if you need to carry this gun, it's pretty practical. Use the thumb brake, pops out of the holster, no problem. Pretty high quality holster. DeSantis gun hide. It's a pretty great company. Once again, I don't work for them. I'm not trying to sell the product, but it is a nice holster. I do have a few other DeSantis holsters here. We also have this concealed carry gun, pretty small gun, great for concealed carry. Talk to you a little bit about this gun. It has a limited number of options of way you could carry it. You can carry it like this with the safety on, the hammer forward, magazine, loaded magazine, and the magazine well, and that's one condition you could carry it in. You can also carry it cocked and locked, which means you load a round in the magazine and the hammer is back. You put the safety on, that's locked. So hammer back's cocked, safety on's locked. So all you got to do to shoot this gun, you got to drop from your holster, you got to take the safety off and pull the trigger. You're good to go. Depending on how confident of a shooter you are, some people like to carry like this. Other times, if you're not that confident yet, as far as a safety issue, you don't want it going off in your pants or anything like that. You might just carry in a condition where you need to, in order to put this gun into operation, you need to draw it, you take the safety off, you need to cycle around into the chamber, and then it's ready to shoot. So that's one option there. And for holsters for this gun, I have a Talon inside the waistband holster. It's a pretty cool holster. It is actually tuckable, so you could wear a nice shirt and tuck it in, and this gun will be completely concealed. And it is a fairly small gun, so it is fairly easy to conceal. Talon's a pretty cool brand. Order them online. I think they're based out of Florida. It's a nice leather holster made in the United States. That's one big thing for me. I do like to support my local gun shops. I like to patronize companies that make products here in the United States, American companies that make products here in the United States. Obviously, I do have some foreign-made guns here, some foreign companies. Beretta's Italian, Glocks are made in Austria, although they do make some, actually both of these companies do make some guns here in the United States, but they are foreign companies. Smith & Wesson's an American company, as far as I know. Everything they make is made in the United States. Same with Ruger's, made in the U.S. SIG, I believe, is a Swiss company, Sig Sauer, and they make their firearms actually predominantly here in the United States, up in New Hampshire. So another thing to think about when you're carrying a gun, are you going to be carrying it at night? As you can see here, I got some tactical lights mounted to the firearm. Problem with that is you kind of need a holster that's going to accommodate that, and there are not a lot of options. Here's one of my duty holsters. Here is a Blackhawk Epic, and this is a level 3 retention holster. Works pretty well with this firearm, but like I said, you're going to need a light bearing holster to accommodate if you want to carry a tactical light. So another option that you have is probably a good idea if you're going to be carrying at night, which is probably a good motivation for concealed carry. If you're going to be out and about, maybe in a bad neighborhood or any neighborhood at all, and you want to be carrying a gun, in order to put it into operation at night, you need to be able to be sure of your target and what's behind it, and it's probably a good idea to carry a flashlight. So a couple options for that. You can just carry, this is a small flashlight, Streamlight Polytac, made in the United States. It is a polymer flashlight, pretty small, easy to conceal in a pocket. Another option that you have for it is to get a light magazine combo. This one's for my Glock 30. It's great for, it's a 45. If I didn't have the tac light on it, I wanted to carry this. I carry a light and a spare magazine, and I can carry a couple options for carrying this Glock. You have an outside the waistband option. This light pops off pretty easily. An outside the waistband option. This is a Blackhawk Serpa. I like Serpa holsters. I carried them overseas for a while, and it was a pretty great option for me. Never had any issues. You're going to see some pistol experts and some safety people tell you the Serpas aren't a great option because they've seen issues with misfires, people having their finger near the trigger. I've never had any issues with them. I like them. They're quick. They have good retention. They can't fall out of the holster, and they're pretty quick and easy to deploy. This is an outside the waistband option made by Blackhawk Serpa. You have a couple other options. You have a inside the waistband holster. This is made by Alien Gear, made in the US. It's a nice holster. Fits pretty well. And either one of those you could also carry in conjunction with this light and magazine holder as well. Another one, this is a leather holster. This is made by Tagua Gun Leather. It's made in Paraguay, and this is an outside the waistband holster. Doesn't have any sort of retention, but it is also a nice holster. So. Another option that you have your Ruger LC9 here. Once again, this is just the original LC9. They've come out since with a striker-fired version, the LC9S, which I would be interested to shoot and see what it's like. This has a loaded indicator. When the gun is loaded, there's a little bar that comes up, and it's actually orange on the sides of it, and that is an indicator that there is a round in the chamber. So once again, when I first started carrying this gun, I just carried it with a loaded magazine in the magazine well. And my plan was, if I was going to put this gun in operation, take the safety off, cycle the slide. Now there's a round in the chamber, and I'm ready to fire. But it is a fairly safe gun. You have a loaded indicator, and if you want to carry with a round in the chamber, you just keep the safety on. And it has a this particular gun has a very long, very heavy trigger pull. It's not really not too worried about it going off accidentally in my holster. With your Glocks, there's not a lot of options as far as ways to carry. You can either carry with a round in the chamber or not. Glocks don't have any sort of external safety. Glock safety is a trigger safety. So you have to have your finger on the trigger, and you have to pull the trigger in order for it to go off. So I'm not too terribly confident carrying inside the waistband or carrying concealed with a round in the chamber with a Glock. You can do it. A lot of people do it. It's just depending on your confidence level and how safe you can be. I have no problem drawing this weapon from my holster, cycling the slide, and putting the gun into operation. If you're in some sort of a duty holster outside the waistband, you're not too worried about it going off. There's no problem carrying it with around in the chamber. So then your Smith & Wesson M&Ps. These also, like the Glocks, have no external safety. You can get them with an external safety if you want, but that's just one more thing. So once again, it is a trigger safety mechanism, and in order to put this gun in operation, you can either carry it around in the chamber ready to go, or you can carry it with just a magazine, and you need to cycle the slide first in order to put that gun into operation. Now, one interesting thing with this particular firearm is this gun is not capable of being fired with the magazine removed, even if you have a round in the chamber. So for instance, if you accidentally are firing and you accidentally hit your magazine release, even though you have a round in the chamber, this gun will not fire, will not go off. This is something you may run into when you're out shopping for a gun. Some guns are like that. It is a safety issue for law enforcement in particular. If you want to fight a bad guy is trying to steal your weapon, you can drop that magazine, and if they get the weapon, there's nothing they're going to be able to do to make it fire without the magazine. This M&P, the little brother to the larger one here, actually is capable of being fired with the magazine removed, and the reason you know why is because it has this little safety caution right here on the side written on there. Says caution capable of being fired with the magazine removed. So you don't have to worry about that with this one. Now you got your couple of holster options for this one. Here is a Kydex holster inside the waistband. Has some decent retention. There's a lot of different manufacturers of these Kydex holsters. This one is actually made by a local holster manufacturer. A lot of people make these in with a home business in their garage. There's a lot of different options for those. You can get them all different colors and graphics on them. They're pretty sweet. You also have the a magazine holder. This one is designed to be carried inside the waistband for concealment. But like I said before in the first video, I always carry a spare mag with me, and it just gives you some more flexibility. You don't have to, but you can, add some extra capacity to your loadout. Some holster options for this gun. I'm not going to take that light off right now, but you do have the Safariland level 2 retention holster. That's pretty sweet. And you have an inside the waistband, and you have an outside the waistband. This one's this outside the waistband is made by DeSantis, or inside the waistband is made by DeSantis. And here's another DeSantis leather outside the waistband holster with a thumb brake. For the Beretta, once again, this is a very redundant, very safe gun. You can carry it around in the chamber. You have your safety, or decocking lever to be exactly proper. As you can see, there's a little orange dot if the safety is off. Now this gun is ready to fire, but remember it has a very long trigger pull. Unless you want to cock the hammer, then you have a very short trigger pull. And so this decocking lever, there's no way to carry this locked and cocked because you put the safety on, it decocks it. So I would have no problem carrying this with a round in the chamber with the safety on. You can take the safety off, fire your first shot in double action mode, or you could fire it in single action mode as well if you want to cock the hammer first before you put the gun in operation. A couple of carry options for this. This is a tactical option. This is the Blackhawk Serpa drop leg platform that I carried when I was overseas. You can see it's pretty worn. Carry a spare mag here. It's kind of a war belt here. You can carry 3 extra mags. It's got retention. It's not going to fall out of the holster. I would worry about this if you're working in a large crowd or something like that. Being down on your leg and being it's not too hard to grab this gun out of somebody's holster. So this wouldn't be my first choice for retention in a crowded environment. I would go with something more like the level 3 holster, or one of the level 2s that has the retention on the interior up close to your body. A couple other options for this gun. This is a leather inside the waistband concealment holster. It's made by Blackhawk, or it's sold by Blackhawk. It's made over in Italy. Nice leather holster. A couple different options. You could carry this in your appendix area. Different positions around inside your waistband. You also have another cool option, kind of unique. The old school shoulder holster. This isn't great for concealed carry unless it's wintertime and you're wearing a heavy jacket. You're wearing a suit coat. But shoulder holster, and you've got double mag pouch over here to kind of even the load out. This is something I used overseas on your off days on the fob. A couple other options here for the Ruger. This is a inside the waistband holster made by Bianchi. So I carried this for years as my primary concealed carry. I believe this is a leather holster. It's made in Mexico. It's pretty comfortable. One trick I always learned, I always wear a t-shirt tucked in. Makes for a pretty good draw, and you're not getting your sweat and everything all over the gun. And then wear a shirt over that for concealment. Here's another option. This is a outside the waistband holster, once again made by DeSantis. Not great for retention or anything like that, but if you just need a outside the waistband holster, this is a pretty decent option. Nice leather holster. So I think we've hit on, well, I got the magazine holder. Not sure who makes this one, but I picked it up at one of the local gun shops. Carry your spare mag with you on your weak side, and works pretty well. Or you can just carry it in your pocket, either way. So, touched on carrying cocked and locked, carrying with the safety on, not guns that are not capable of being fired with the magazine removed. One thing to touch on for shooting is going to be your trigger press, trigger reset. One of the things I've discovered in my few years learning about handguns, learning how to shoot them, is you're going to want to have a gun that has a good trigger. Your trigger press is very important in maintaining your accuracy. Now, if you drill and practice, for instance, your first shot with the Beretta, it's going to be in that double action mode. If you don't cock the hammer first, it's going to be a long trigger pull. It's going to be a hard trigger pull. And the more force you're exerting with that finger, that gun's going to be going all over the place unless you're pretty practiced and pretty good at holding that gun steady. Same with this internal hammer, double action only. So what you want to ask for advice at the gun shop is, what kind of a trigger press does this gun have? With the striker fired guns, you have the internal trigger safety, and you have the it's got a pretty decent trigger pull. Same with this M&P striker fired. It's got kind of a little bit of a mushy trigger break because of the fact that it's a striker fired gun and has that internal trigger safety. But once you start shooting, you fire that first shot. One thing that pistol experts are going to tell you, when you pull that trigger back, one thing you're going to want to find is that trigger reset. When you pull the trigger, you're going to hear the click, the gun's going to go off, and then you just let that trigger out far enough till you hear an audible click and that trigger resets. And then you don't have to let it all the way back out or take your finger off the trigger. If you're going to continue to fire, just let it out far enough to hear the click, it resets, and then you pull the trigger again. So you're not jerking it, changing your grab on the trigger. So that's a pretty important technique you're going to want to learn for shooting your pistol. So you want to be able to know how to take them apart and put them back together. You want it to be easy. You're going to want to learn how to clean them and take care of them, keep them lubed up, and good luck with your search for your handgun.